Hi and welcome to my channel. My name's Debbie and I'm back this week with a really easy DIY you're going to love. I'm going to show you how to upcycle an ugly old vase and turn it into those beautiful aged clay vases that typically sell for over $100. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So this is my ugly vase that I'm going to be using for this DIY project. You can see that it has calcium buildup at the rim here from years of use, and the blue stain is really just not working for me anymore. So what I'm going to do first is take some sandpaper, and I'm using a 60 grit here, which just means it's very textured and rough. I'm going to lightly rub it all over the vase to add some grip, because afterwards I'm going to be applying paint, and I want the paint to be able to stick to the glass better. Make sure you're also sanding the rim as well because we're going to be painting this too. After this project is done, your guests won't be able to tell that this vase used to be glass. Now that this vase has gotten a good sanding, I'm going to take my paint, and I'm using this Basics acrylic paint. And I'm going to mix that in with the magic ingredient here, baking soda. Somehow baking soda just gives paint a really nice textured and natural look. The baking soda does something really cool with the paint by giving it a matte, chalky appearance that looks exactly like stone or clay. Just to make things easier for me, I'm going to pour some baking soda out in a tray. And in a separate tray, I'll use it to mix the paint and baking soda together. You're looking for a somewhat pasty texture, not dry and clumpy, otherwise it's not going to paint well. Make sure your baking soda is mixed well with the paint so there's no clumps. But if you do get clumps, don't worry, we can fix that later on. This paint mixture is pretty forgiving. The more baking soda you add to the paint, the grainier and more textured it'll be. I wanted mine to be pretty textured, so I added quite a bit of baking soda, and this is how it's looking like. I'm going to start by painting the lower half and letting that fully dry, then coming back in to finish up the top half. Alright, so the paint has dried after sitting outside under the sun, and this is how it's looking like. I am loving how it's turning out so far. Now I'm going to continue painting the top half and covering as much of the blue glass as possible throughout. Because I'm trying to cover up the darker blue color with a lighter paint color like white, I probably went through 2 to 3 coats, letting the paint fully dry in between. On the second or third coat, I also started adding some color, using just a drop of light paint to mimic the look of what a real clay pot would actually look like. Once I'm happy with the way it looks, I left the vase outside to completely dry before coming back in to give a light sanding. Because I added a lot of baking soda, it was quite textured. And so to make it a bit smoother, I'm using 60 grit sandpaper and gently going over any areas I felt was just too rough. When you're sanding, you might reveal areas where you had clumps in your paint, and they'll look like white specks like this. But don't worry, we're going to go through with one final coat, and that'll help hide those white specks. The final coat is to add shadowing, or like a stain to your clay pot, just to give it that aged look. So I'm going to use a darker brown along with my lighter brown. Just a drop each is enough. I'm lightly brushing it on to make it look as natural as possible, but it's definitely a little too dark. So to lighten this up, I'm adding some water to my tray and dipping my brush in it, then lightly brushing it on my pot. Before it dries, I'm also using a paper towel to essentially wipe it off, and that'll create a much more realistic look. I'm adding darker colors to the base and shoulder, and then blending this throughout the pot, until I'm happy with the way it looks. And here's the final product. I'm so happy with how this turned out. It honestly works so well in my front entry. And I don't think anyone can tell that this used to be glass. If you love these DIYs, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.